Good morning. How are you today? Well, it's it's not exactly beautiful today. It's overcast. It's 51 degrees. What happened? We were making such good progress weather-wise. Now, talking about progress and the lack of it, let's talk about Congress for a few minutes. A long time ago, I was special counsel to Chuck Schumer, senator from New York, majority leader, and he is a genius. He's an amazing man. And he gave a good statement about the Republicans should be ashamed of themselves. But what do we do instead? We've known for weeks that they were never going to agree to this in the Senate, that they were going to use the 60 vote rule against us. And we pretend that Manchin is an honest broker here because he's going to save the country from, the 60 vote rule changing. That's just wrong. So what do? In my experience, you can ask people to do what they're supposed to do, and when it is clear they are not going to do it, and in the case of the Republicans, guess what? They don't want to investigate themselves. And there aren't those other Republicans who stand up and say, I didn't do anything and I don't want to be standing with people who did do something. I want an investigation. So if you're not going to get that, then we need to improvise. Now, we have a president of the United States who writes executive orders. Write one for a damn investigation. This is not complicated stuff. And some people have said to me, well, what about the subpoena power? Are you kidding? Have you seen what happens to the subpoena power? Congress doesn't get to exercise it. Most of the investigations I ever ran, the information you got didn't come with a subpoena. And I'm talking as an assistant U.S. attorney, and especially when I did investigations on the Hill. And I did issue one subpoena in a case, investigation, a Hill investigation. And after some quibbling, it actually was honored. We had a deposition. But that was then. Now, the lines are drawn. And to ask the Republicans to yield their Fifth Amendment and to actually expose themselves to scrutiny is a hope that is beyond all imagination. It's just not going to happen. So what do? Well, we're not going to have a special counsel if Garland's going to run around making decisions that mimic Trump. He wants the Court of Appeals to strike a ruling they made that said Congress had standing to issue subpoenas. Imagine that. That's not very helpful. What would they do when a subpoena issued from a commission? Would they decide it wasn't effective because they'd made that decision in the case of the Hill? And now we see that the Department of Justice is opposing a lawsuit that claimed that individual constitutional rights were violated when Trump and Barr cleaned the Lafayette Square of protesters, peaceful protesters, by the way, with all manner of strength, so that Trump, in his phony manly way, could walk across an empty square and wave a Bible he's never read to show he's not going to put up with what? Protests? That's very autocratic, third world warrior kind of stuff. So what am I saying? It has come time when Democrats have got to get in the game. They have to show some stuff, and they're not doing it. And maybe the Congress can't. Maybe it's always been the weakest organ of the three branches of government. I thought that in the 60s as a kid, when you go up to the Hill and try to talk to them about the Vietnam War, individual rights and liberties, protests and stuff like that, and you get an agreeable hearing, but they wouldn't act upon it. And so here we are, 2021, the Republicans are in the minority, technically, in both chambers, and we can't wield the power of the Senate to pass a resolution on whether or not we should investigate an effort to overthrow our government forcefully. That's a failed system, and we better do something about it, because more is at risk than just losing a midterm election. What's at risk is losing a democracy, and I don't know what else you can say about it. I think that the prosecutions would be helpful, not to get even, but to show that there is some accountability for violating the law, whether it be an insurrection, whether it be crimes against the states, whether it be interfering with the 2016 election or interfering with the 2020 election or subverting how we spend taxpayer dollars. The beat goes on. Today I'm going to be on MSNBC around 4ish to discuss some of these issues. So I can't recommend getting out today unless you dress warmly, and I could have dressed warmer. And I'll be out tomorrow, rain or shine, and maybe it'll be warmer. So have a good weekend, be well, and just bother the hell out of our elected representatives. Because apparently the only thing they understand is a demand that might cost them their phony baloney job. Okay, all the best. Bye-bye.